What is up, YouTube? It's RS Mario here, bringing you my spoiler-free review of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Yes, but first I do want to apologize. I haven't got a lot of videos out there to you guys lately because a lot been going on with work and the holidays, and it's been hard to get projects out the door. So I'm working on that. I actually worked on a couple videos today, so you guys should be getting some videos this week. But yeah, videos, they're coming, so just watch out for them. And oh, what's up to the new subscribers? I did pick up a few new people, which is awesome. But yeah, so let's get into Star Wars. So Star Wars: The Force Awakens it's awesome. It's definitely worth the wait. And it works out in a lot of ways, but like everything put to film, there is a flaw. There's always going to be flaws, and we're going to get into those as well. But let's just set this up real quick. So basically, this story follows three characters really: Finn, Kylo, and Rey. And they basically get swept up into this conflict that's pretty much as old as time, which is the conflict between good and evil, the light side and the dark side of the Force. And the embodiment of that conflict right now is the post-galactic civil war, so because it's not really the rebels versus the Empire anymore. It's more like the First Order, which is kind of like the new Empire, basically like remnants of the Empire. I think one way somebody explained it was like if the Nazis who left Nazi Germany and went to Argentina after the World War II, if they were to come together and start working together again, that would be like what the First Order would be. And minus the extreme Nazism, but that's pretty much what the First Order is. It's the remnants of the Empire that have come together and they created the First Order. And there's still some systems that are loyal to the Empire, and there are some that are just conquered by the Empire. And then you have the Resistance, which is the military arm of the Republic. Now, they do mention the Republic in this movie, but not that much, because I think Abrams really didn't want any connotations to the prequels. So, the Republic exists, but that's it. And that's pretty much all the spoiler I'm going to give you. And so, yeah, that's pretty much where we're going here. It's the Resistance versus the First Order. And the movie itself did this well. Like, the conflict is space battles are awesome. The conflict is done well. But the biggest thing I'll probably have to say as far as pros go in this movie, the character development. And I'm like, that was one thing I was worried about with the movie, was how they were going to deal with developing the new characters but giving the old characters time to shine, since the old characters are kind of a big selling point here, and they need to be treated well. And they did both well. Actually, he did exceptionally well. He developed and set up the new characters, but also he kind of gave a depth and more development to old characters. It's like, well, damn, okay. Did not expect the character development to be that solid on both sides, but it was. Another pro of this is, of course, the music. The music of Star Wars is always a pro, always a good thing. And the music really does take you through moments and things in this series, and it's awesome. The music is incredible. Like the dun, 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 dun. I don't always like people remixing songs from classic shows and classic series and classic franchises, but that Imperial March remix, I want that so freaking bad in my life. I need that in my life. I'm gonna buy this. When this soundtrack comes out, I'm buying this. I don't buy soundtracks really. Because usually I listen to one or two tracks on them, but this soundtrack, I need to own this. Another pro for this movie is the cinematography. Cinematography in this movie is awesome. He has brilliant wide shots. He has real locations. He has practical effects. But some of the coolest shots, and I really can't tell you about them because it's really spoilery, but some of the coolest shots actually they tell a story in themselves. They tell you parts of the exposition in themselves and set up what's going on before it actually happens. Like there's one shot where, you know, there's a character that's standing in the dark, like in a dark corner, and there's light coming in from this way behind another character, and it's kind of like, oh my god, they're talking to me and they're not saying any words. And that leads me into another thing as far as exhibition. The prequels had a lot of exposition as far as explaining things to you, and they did it to you in a way that you just listening to people's conversations. So they basically just told you, like, oh, look, this is happening, and this is happening, and this is what's happening with this person, and this is how this person is thinking. Well, this movie shows it to you. And this is something that a lot of people talked about with Lucas in the prequels, that they wanted you to show us instead of telling us. And I like that. That was awesome. You know, I mean, there is some exposition. There's no nudity in this movie. I swear. Exposition in this movie, where things are told to you, you know, and mainly it's, you know, by Han Solo. But yeah, there is some of that in this movie, but it doesn't slow down the kinetic pace of this movie, which probably is one of the flaws. Now, one of the cons in this movie is I love the kinetic energy, but it does feel like he achieved this by jump cuts. Not jump cuts, but by cuts. You know, I believe things were cut out of the movie for time and to keep the pace going, not to slow it down too much. Or this could have been a business thing by Disney, so they can sell like 5 different versions or special editions of the movie. So yeah, it does feel like that at some points, you know, because there's some things that just weren't explained. Which leads me to another con in the movie, is there is some plot holes involving some characters. One in particular, who was marketed one way and then presented another way. It was smart the way they did it on the marketing side, but that did not help this person's character in the movie. They're still awesome, but yeah, it didn't help this person in the movie. Another con a lot of people were talking about was the ending. The ending leaves you wanting more. Now this is something that I kind of expected from this movie, because one thing I said the prequels did wrong was every movie wrapped up everything perfectly, with the exception of names. With the exception of Revenge of the Sith, which really set up a New Hope. But the first one, you know, The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, really kind of wrapped up their stories quite nicely, with the exception of a few things like clone troopers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the villain's dead, I mean, or defeated, and then you move on to the next thing. You know, and if it's not done like, you know, in Revenge of the Sith, Dooku, who was the villain of Attack of the Clones, was handled quickly, and the new villain was then Grievous, who was horribly underused, and that was it. In this movie, no. This movie, it does that a little bit better, but the ending will leave you wanting more. And the good thing about that is you will get more. It's not like Prometheus where you need more, but there's no guarantee you're going to get more, even though I think Paradise Lost is coming, which is the Prometheus sequel. But this one, you want more, and you're going to get more. It's just going to take a couple years. Now, one of my favorite Star Wars movies, Empire Strikes Back, did this very same thing. You know, you needed more, you needed closure, and you didn't get closure in that movie until, you know, Return of the Jedi came on. So, you know, but yeah, so those are really the pros and cons of the movie. To me, I like the movie. It has its flaws, but it's definitely better than the prequels, and it's definitely worth the wait. And I don't go to the movies very often. Like, I don't go out to see movies very often, but I went out for this, and it's worth the $10. Definitely gets an A. So, I'm gonna do a spoiler version of this video where there are spoilers, because there's a lot of things you really can't talk about unless you spoil it. So watch out for that. If you've seen the video, if you've seen the movie already, you know, or either you can watch the movie and then watch that. It's up to you. But yup, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep it real.